Am I the asshole for leaving my date at a bar? I went on a date with a girl Sunday. Let's say her name is Mandy. I've met Mandy several times through my friend's girlfriend, Sarah. Mandy always seemed nice and fun to talk to, so I asked her to hang out Sunday. I knew she liked football because she's been by my friend's house for games several times, so I asked her to come with to watch a game. We went to a sports bar for dinner. The plan was to watch the game, have some drinks, and maybe play pool. So I picked her up on Sunday. We got to the bar and Mandy said that her friend was there sitting at a table with some other people. She went in and said hi. We sat at the bar and ate. Then she asked if it was cool if we went and sat by them. I didn't really want to, but agreed. We went over there and she introduced me. That was basically it. From then on, I felt like a third wheel. I tried to talk about football with some of the other people, but they didn't watch sports. I tried starting a conversation about other stuff with one of the guys, and it didn't seem like it was going anywhere. So I sat and watched the game while Mandy talked to her friends. Time passed and the game was almost over, so I told Mandy I was probably going to head out after, and she said, "Oh, come on, one more drink and then we'll go." Okay, fine. Then her friends started buying rounds of shots for each other. Not me. Understandable, they don't know me. Besides, I was driving. I finished my soda and told Mandy I was going to go because I worked in the morning. She got a confused look and looked at her beer. Then her friends, and said, "Oh, well, I didn't finish my drink yet." I said, "Well, I'm leaving. I can give you a ride home if you want." She said, "Okay, let me finish my drink." I said, "Okay," and sat down. Then she started screwing around with her friends again, going outside with them, playing darts, not drinking her drink. I said, "Mandy, I'm leaving." She didn't acknowledge me or say bye, so I left. Yesterday after work, Sarah called and yelled at me about leaving Mandy stranded. She said when you drive someone somewhere, you take them home too, that she didn't know I was such a jackass to leave a girl at a bar alone, and that Mandy didn't even know I left until she saw my jacket was gone. And apparently, Mandy had to lift home, and I should reimburse her. I explained my side, and she said, "So what? She was having fun. You should have joined in instead of sitting around moping." I felt like I really tried to get into the conversation and join the group, it just wasn't working. I didn't feel like sitting there bored forever. Her friends were there, so it's not like she was alone. Am I the asshole for leaving? Oy vey. Okay, this feels like a complicated situation. Number one, I think if you wanted this to be a date, hanging out at a sports bar to watch a football game probably wasn't the best decision. It created an atmosphere that was easily interrupted, so the date was very casual from the get-go. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that as a date, but you have to acknowledge that risk. It's not like a formal experience at that point, it's just a hangout. You did take her there, but you also told her multiple times that you were going to leave. Now, there was an understanding that you were her ride home, and she said, "I'm going to finish my drink," but then she abandoned ship to go party and live it up with her friends. Number one, joining up with the friends when this was supposed to be a date is one of the things that is a risk whenever you pick a place like a sports bar for this to happen. So it started to immediately fall apart. This whole frickin' thing just fell apart, man. I'd say the date probably didn't go well. Your chances of seeing her again are probably very slim. You're a little bit of an asshole for leaving. You probably should have stepped up more and been like, "Hey, I need you to understand that I am leaving and I need to hear you say it back," so that there was some kind of clear understanding between you two. I understand it's a messed up situation. She had friends there, so if she had to take a lift home, somebody else screwed her over too. It wasn't just you. I would say go ahead and reimburse her and just be done with it. In the grand scheme of this situation, let's see where this lands you in the ASCON scale here. So we have, referring to our diagram here again, ASCON 1, no way you should have done that, you're a terrible human being. ASCON 2, you definitely shouldn't have done that, but it doesn't make you a terrible person. ASCON 3, you probably should have approached that differently. ASCON 4, you probably could have approached that differently. Maybe you're an asshole, maybe you're not. I'm going to say ASCON 3 here, because you probably should have tried harder to make sure that there was a clear understanding that she knew that he was leaving. There was also a should have approached this whole date thing differently kind of responsibility that led to this becoming the mess that it was. There was an assumption that she liked football and that's why you chose the place that you chose. Maybe you should have had a conversation with her first and been like, "Hey, this is what I'm thinking. Are you cool with that?" And that would have given you the opportunity to pivot to something different that was less likely to be interrupted. Her marching you over to her friend group and plopping down is a little bit weird, but like I said, that's one of the risks of a very casual date. So it became not a date very quickly. It became hanging out with her friends and you being a third wheel. I get it. She's an asshole for that. She is probably an ass-con too for that move, unless it was just going so poorly that they rescued her. But she wanted to leave with you, so I don't know. I am so glad that I don't have to deal with this kind of crap anymore as a happily married man, because this seems super complicated and kind of seems like a Kobayashi Maru. There's no winning for him in this situation. Either he stuck it out and lived through hell being the sober guy around a bunch of drunks, which everybody knows sucks, or, he gets up and communicates more clearly and pisses her off doing that, or he does what he did and he pisses her off doing that. So I don't think there was a win here. I just feel like personally you should have communicated it more clearly to avoid the situation that happened. Reimburse her for Lyft and be done with it. At least she can't say that you didn't do that then. That's all there is to it. Try to save a little bit of face and move on here, man. Ascon 3. But she's an Ascon too. I don't know. Y'all tell me what you think. What would you do in this situation? As messed up as it is. Also, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that you maybe haven't seen yet on Instagram. That's where we house all of our behind the scenes stuff beyond just this camera and this death care and these stories. So check that out if you have any interest in learning more about the Dusty Thunder life. Also, if you are not already subscribed on YouTube, you definitely should be, because there's all kinds of different content on there, like compilations of these Am I the Asshole stories. We also have some other story time stories, and the video version of the podcast gets posted there as well. So subscribe there, make sure you turn on the notifications, ring the bell if we did well, and you will be privy to all kinds of very cool things.